We'll move to item 10, which is the exclusion of public. So the recommendation is that the public be excluded from the following parts and proceedings of this meeting on the grounds under section 48 of the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 as follows, and the plain English reason: to protect the commercially sensitive information, to protect all communications between a legal advisor and clients from being disclosed without permission of the client, and to prevent use of the information for improper gain or advantage. So I'll go first to you, Councillor Piddington, because obviously you have a view on this. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, if I could.
Yes, please.
Would it be possible to invite Michael Garbutt to speak to this before we have the discussion? Michael Garbutt's a legal representative from Anderson Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then, well, I can get him. Do we want to hear Stu's reasons first, or it probably doesn't matter which way around they go, does it?
It's entirely up to you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. We might just listen to Stu's reasons first, and then Michael can respond to them if he needs to, perhaps.
Yeah, look, I think being on the council, one of the things important to us is getting feedback of our ideas and where we're going to. If we take things behind closed doors, we don't get that public feedback. It's all whispers and innuendo, if you like. My understanding on this matter, the person that's brought it to us is happy for it to be discussed in public. And I guess, yeah, it's good to see open debate. And if, again, we close it behind closed doors, people don't know what's happening, they don't see our point of view, and I just don't think these reasons on this particular one stack up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Piddington. I might, unless there's any other comment, we'll just go to Councillor Booth and then I'll invite Michael to comment.
Are we going to have a discussion after the lawyer's going to say what we know what he's going to say?
I will invite Michael to comment, and then if there's further discussion, absolutely we can have further discussion. Yeah. Do you want to?
It's like the same old routine. This guy gets rolled out when there's something that's a little bit controversial. So I'm a little bit sceptical about the requirement to have the lawyer tell us what our responsibilities are.
Okay, from a new-ish councillor and new-ish chair, I actually appreciate a little bit of reassurance, but thank you, Councillor Booth, for your comments. Michael, if you don't mind just perhaps responding to Councillor Piddington's comments and giving us a bit of advice on the risks of having this in public, and actually potentially even the reasons why we could have this in public, please.
Sure. Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Just checking you can hear me okay? Yes, thank you. Good morning. Yep, Michael Garbutt, solicitor from Anderson Lloyd, and I've certainly heard that, and I don't want to preach to the converted other than to alert you that yes, it's for council to decide whether the item is held in public or public excluded. That's fully the council's decision. The staff have put forward 3 reasons why you appropriately could hold the item in public excluded, and I do support those as reasonable. One is whether you want to hear legal advice about the procedural risks that might be involved in looking to carry out a variation, and the others are around landowner involvement or otherwise so far, and to protect the process of considering changes to people's zonings. They're reasonable grounds, but as councillors have ultimately noted, it's fully for the council to decide whether you prefer to hold the matter in public or not. The only thing I would just say is if you do it in public, and you do ask for me to elaborate on any legal advice, then there's no privilege to that. It'll be provided in public, and I would say what I'd say in private in public, but you'd be waiving any legal privilege that would otherwise attach. So resolve it in public.
Thank you. Councillor Puddington.
Public and make a decision.
So, Michael, you're more worried about the advice you might give us rather than the actual reasons for going into public excluded. Is that what I'm getting from you?
I've provided some legal advice in the report, and I'd be very happy to talk that through with you. I would say exactly the same in public as I would in private to you. That doesn't change the advice I'd give. But when we're talking about legal procedural risks to council, you're entitled to hear that in private to preserve legal privilege if you want to, but you don't have to.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion, or is somebody wanting to put, Councillor Scott?
My view is I'm quite neutral on this. I don't have a strong view whether we go public or excluded, so I just wanted to table that. I do know I have a long list of questions around the report. I will be seeking a lot of clarification to the report, so I'm just letting you know that, yeah, I've got a long list of stuff that we need to get through, so we can do it in public or excluded, but I'm happy to go with the majority on this. It's entirely up to everyone.
Okay, any further comment? If not, can I, I'll move on.
And I've got a question, but it's around that procedural reference that Michael, referred to, where it might be best to hear it in PX. But I guess my question is around the current plan, with effectively being seen to, by considering effectively what a party's brought to us, are we picking winners, and what's the risk to council in and around the process of the district plan? I think that's what I think Michael he could answer that, but it's probably up to you, Chair, whether you want to take that. But as far as the actual paper being in PX or not, I don't really have a stronger view either, to be fair.
Okay, I think we might just put the resolution actually and see how that lands. So does somebody want to move the recommendation that public be excluded from the following parts of procedural meetings as outlined on page 10? Does anyone want to put that motion?
I'll move it's not.
So the question is, does somebody want to move the recommendation that's on the floor, on the table, whatever you call it? Which is to proceed with public excluded. So without anyone wanting to move that, the recommendation fails and we will continue in public. I think I've given everyone a fair chance to move that, so we will continue in public. Thank you, Michael, for your advice there. Okay, so we'll move on to, just bear with me while I change my agendas around. So we just have one report in this part of the meeting, which is an investigation into possible variation to the proposed Timaru District Plan on urban growth, and I welcome Hamish Burrell to speak to the report. District Planning Manager, welcome Hamish.
Thank you,
Sorry,
Madam
just
Chair.
procedurally,
Yeah.
can that paper now be put online or up immediately so people that do have an interest in it can actually see what we're discussing? How does that work?
Do you know that, or shall I ask B?
Or can we distribute it round the room? Sorry.
No, my advice is we can, I'm not here to offer advice, but we can obviously upload it later, but for those members of the public that might want to view it, I think we should just take the time, you've got some copies, if we just make sure that it's distributed now.
Okay, and so maybe we will just pause for 5 minutes. You're saying so I might just adjourn for 5 minutes while we distribute that. And oh no, sorry, Mr. Karen.
Just add, it's now a public item. We could just email it to anyone who's here who would like it. There's no reason why you've resolved that it go into public, so we'll just Yeah, we're going to make it public. We can, if someone wants it here, we can email it to them as well as distribute a hard copy. So just as a means of making that process efficient.
Okay, cool, let's do that.